I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk to folks from the VTuber community about their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Delora joins us. Hi.
Hi there.
Please.
Nice to see you.
I'm glad you're on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello there. My name is Delora Dakalupo. I am a female VTuber streamer that enjoys mostly FPS games, but I consider myself definitely a variety streamer. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. And how long have you been doing this streaming thing?
So I've had the channel for actually about, I want to say like 3 years, but it was very dormant. I tried a very small stint like 2 years ago, and not much happened. But I recently brought it back about a year ago, and yeah, it's been going good.
It's
Slow but steady progression.
Yeah. Well, you definitely want some progression, and sometimes it's going to take slow and steady progression. But I think that way too. When I've interviewed folks, you tend to build a stronger base if you go slow and steady. Have you found that to be the case?
Oh, definitely, because when you go a little bit slower and you make sure that you really pay attention to what you're doing and who you're streaming to, your community really grows a stronger bond to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I get asked, like, I don't think it'll ever happen, but every once in a while I'll be asked by a chatter, are you going to remember us when you blow up? And I'm like, first off, I don't think I'll ever blow up, as big as some of the biggest streamers. And if I do, I'll try, because yeah, that's really who gives you those views when you could be very well just a zero viewer,
Yeah.
streamer.
Yeah.
Those are the people that make the difference.
You try to remember them as much as you can, but you also got to remember that it's your show.
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be my show without them.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
It's a balance.
It is a balance, and sometimes it's hard for folks to do that, to balance it correctly. And so I watch off and on all sorts of streamers, and you see some that that are very controlling of what happens with their chat. Some folks are very chaotic and let the chat kind of take over. Are you trying to keep that balance between the two? Or what if? Yeah, I don't want to pigeonhole you in any category, but how do you treat chat?
I definitely try to be. Well, for one, I'm very loving and affectionate to my chat, because I love fostering a very friendly, cozy, anybody can come and talk about wherever they'd like kind of vibe to the chat as well as the channel, so long as they follow the rules of, like, no being hateful or rude or aggressive or angry. And while I'm not one of those people who are like, ew, don't ever bring your problems in here.
Right.
Because I love when people talk about their problems, because it's a place that you can be comfortable to express that. I definitely do advise, if it's like a long, like, whole paragraphs and paragraphs, I say don't do it here, but please use the vent channel in my Discord server.
Oh yeah.
So they still have a voice. They still have somewhere to go and to talk to, get comfort, be able to hear people, opinions on the matter, or just let their heart out. So people need that. It's a pressure relief.
Yeah, that's a great way to handle that sort of situation, and a very level-headed way to do it too. And if folks will listen and do it that way, it helps a lot of people in the process.
Definitely.
So my hat's off to you for that. That's a great way to solve that. The streaming in general for you. What do you like to stream when you're on the Twitch?
Well, like I said, most of the time it'd really just be FPS games, because that's personally my favorite category. Some favorites are like Destiny 2, Team Fortress 2, Black Ops 3 Custom Zombies, Fallout 4 and 76, as well as New Vegas. Yeah. But I also like to venture into more unfamiliar territory that I think chat enjoys and that I enjoy, like Dead by Daylight, Elden Ring, Dragon Ball Fighters, even Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, just a whole variety that.
Yeah. And so you will delve into the horror a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I need to delve more. I'm actually gonna try and play the Fear series.
oh, that doesn't even
Hmm.
that sounds like something that would definitely keep me awake at night. So what is the Fear series about besides pure fear?
I'm not quite sure, but I've seen a little bit of gameplay from one of them, and it was this person who was in this abandoned environment, and they were pursued by some little girl who it was like a spirit, and there were tons of just scary, just vagrants who would attack them.
Uh-huh.
It was not very familiar with the actual story, but which I'm excited to find out. But
Yeah,
all I know is that it's still first person, which will be familiar territory for me.
yeah,
But definitely very unexpected. You don't know where you are. You're scavenging resources. I
yeah.
get that kind of vibe from it, and I'm excited.
Well, if you play the Fallout games,
Hmm.
you know how to scavenge resources.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I haven't been able
I
to
need to play
do
more of those.
I haven't been able to do 4 or 76 because my computer won't deal with it. But I
Oh,
did do New Vegas over and over and over and over and
oh
over.
my God, yes.
It's very easy to come back and do it again, um,
Hmm.
and sometimes be the bad guy.
I was about to say, if you don't mind me asking a question, what would you say your favorite faction or group to side with is?
Oh my gosh, there's just I have a ridiculous attachment to the Kings.
The Kings, interesting. Okay.
There's
Yeah,
just
they're
some
great. I love them.
they're just something goofy and even and not to spoil too much about the game.
Hmm.
Given the one bad egg, it's just something goofy
Hmm.
and almost gallant about how they in that type of an environment still kind of do what they can. It's just there's too much stuff to like in that game. Uh,
Oh my God, yes. And
and
so many quirks and details.
yeah, and
Especially if you do something like a Bizarre Wasteland,
oh
which adds makes it even quirkier.
yeah,
And then the DLC is to boot.
the DLCs are quirky enough. One I've stayed away from the casino DLC. I just can't get into that one.
Oh,
Um,
Dead Money, I believe it's
yeah,
called.
yeah. I just die
I
too
haven't gotten to that
quickly.
one yet.
I just die too
I
quickly, and I'm like,
see.
I can get highest level doing everything but that. So I'll just
Hmm.
avoid for now. Um, the,
That's fair.
why did you get started in V2ing?
Well, like I said, I started the channel like years and years ago, and I've always really enjoyed a lot of YouTubers, especially the earlier ones,
Mm-hmm.
as well as more recent ones. Earlier one, I don't know what my favorite one to go to at the beginning was, but I've always just really liked how, because I mean, I wouldn't consider myself super self conscious of my looks, but I just knew I'm not a very attention grabbing individual physically. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very, very simple looking. So I thought, well, there's that, but also I just don't want to be just a voice because I feel like I like my voice, but I like for be a physical representation of me.
Yeah.
And then couple that with the fact that I'm a furry, I've been one for quite many few years. I have
Mm-hmm.
my character. I thought, hey, why not combine, my interest in entertaining and having a chat and stuff with playing games, with being a furry,
Mm-hmm.
and mush them all together, and boom, furry VTuber. I'm able to bring my character to life and make them a part of me, and uh, have them as a representation and persona,
Yeah.
that acts as me. It's a
Yeah.
representation. It's almost like a costume, but virtually one that's so easy to manipulatable. I'm actually gonna get a new one very soon.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be nice.
Oh.
Very same character, but totally different base,
Yeah.
and everything's gonna look much better.
Yeah. You're looking forward to that one, I bet.
Hmm.
Yeah. And did you design the new one yourself, or did you have someone else design for you?
So much like the last one, it is a pre-existing base that someone designed.
Uh huh.
They're and in their origins, they're VR chat models. Funny enough, you're familiar with that game. That's another game I stream, but not
Yeah.
that often.
Yeah.
Um, that are taken and customized. So it's my character's fur color, her eyes, her jacket. The designs, their shirt, shorts, everything. customize look like my character that already pre-exists as a an art character,
Hmm.
and then that's taken into a model in VR chat, and then the model itself within Unity is then converted to VR, which is the file type for 3D VR VTuber models.
Hmm.
And that's so the base is created by somebody else, and then it is edited by a friend of mine.
Wow. Well, that sounds
Yeah.
like it's gonna be great for you. It's great to be able to project a facet of yourself, if not the entirety
Mhm.
of yourself, and still kind of have that arm's length distance. Um,
Certainly,
and
yeah.
you're not exposing everything to everybody, but there's a lot of you
Mm-mm.
there.
Yeah, and I love sharing things about myself, and I definitely consider my character, what who I am on stream, very close to my own person. But I'll play it up a little bit. Like this is, my relatively normal talking voice. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But if I'm really getting into character, it'll sound a lot more like this, and
Oh, don't
I'll
do.
get much more close.
Oh
And
my gosh.
hello, sweetheart, how are you doing?
Yeah. Are
And
you?
I like that because I love being that warm, loving, motherly character, the person, not even character, just person.
So
I really like that.
are you doing voice acting work?
No, actually, but I've been interested. I just don't know how to get into it. I've
Well,
been told I should voice act, do ebook reading, do ASMR, and I'm like, cool. How? How do where do I go? I don't know.
well,
So,
I can, radio stuff doesn't get you any money, no matter what your voice is at this point, unfortunately.
darn.
But, but
Seems like it's much fun, sadly. I
yeah,
love radio. I love radio stations.
it
There's a
used
great one.
it was
Uh
a lot of fun, but you live off a whole lot of baloney.
Aw, I'm
Yeah,
so sorry, love. Do
yeah.
you speak from experience?
I speak from 35 years experience.
Oh my goodness
Yeah.
gracious. Well,
So,
that's absolutely
yeah,
that's very
that's a lot of baloney.
what's the word? I mean, I was actually gonna say it's very impressive. That's
Well,
the word. Very impressive because I mean that's awesome. That's a lot of, experience under your belt.
yeah, it
And it's
is.
funny, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have an interesting experience with radios myself, but
Yeah.
not in the way manner you might expect.
Well, how?
So, and this is of course things I've shared on stream because I'm able to share this without giving up my identity.
Right.
I am a radio frequency transmission specialist in the United States Air Force.
Whoa.
So I deal with the more military-esque radios that are purely communication, not civilian level, which means it's entirely different bands, it's entirely
Mm,
different frequencies,
yeah.
but it's still radio nonetheless.
Yeah.
Have
Is
to
it?
make sure you have the right output and frequency and
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's even more important that you do it at that level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
We
I
have to
mean,
deal with encryption on that level.
yeah, I have a shortwave set, and
Interesting. That's cool.
I used to, before I moved into a tin building, I could listen
Mm.
on it and would listen to the Air Force EAM messages. Um,
Ew, that's cool.
yeah, and it was interesting. Of course, we have absolutely no idea what any of that meant, being civilians,
Hmm.
but we could listen to it, and but the frequencies now that are being used are way up there,
Hmm.
and average person's not going to be able to hear them at
Yeah,
this
you have to
point.
have some very like high frequency equipment.
Hmm.
I also trained in SATCOM, funny enough, if you're familiar with that is.
Yeah, yeah. That you've been trading that too. Oh,
It's we had to deal. They had these huge six black box sets. Oh
oh.
my god, need entire binders just for like, all right, I gotta go over to box A1 and check make sure that I have the right attenuation. Go over there and check the right frequency. Is the satellites lined up? What's my X and Y? I forgot the words for it.
Yeah,
The words. It's
coordinates.
been
Yeah,
it's like a like X almost XY on a grid, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I
Coordinate
forgot
type
what the
things.
terms
Yeah,
are. Yeah,
yeah.
almost like coordinates.
Yeah. It's very it's for Joe average person, and I only know a little bit of what you're talking about, a little because of all the years in radio. Is
Oh
it
yeah.
they wouldn't have any idea what you're talking about, and
It's all right. It's just a couple. It's a military nonsense. It's
yeah, it is,
It's
but
being antiquated actually.
yeah, it's becoming that way, and
Mm-hmm.
but again, that's just because more better things are coming along
Mm-hmm. Most
for it.
certainly.
But sooner or later, it still comes down to, it comes down to radio in general, and
Mm-hmm.
it means sometimes you can have all the great technology in the world, but it's your portable walkie-talkie that saves you.
Oh my God, yeah, because you're not having to worry about well, unlike walkie-talkies, you don't need an internet modem. You don't need satellites to bounce off of.
Hmm.
You don't need any of that. It's just especially if it's line of sight radio. Oh my God.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
you need is a battery and the tech and boom, you're good. You
yeah,
can be 500 yards away and you can still transmit, hey, we got people on the left side of the perimeter,
yeah,
make sure, stay alert.
yeah,
And that's for,
absolutely.
of course, in a much more defensive situation where, well, quite frankly, we, technology's been knocked out. But that's like apocalypse
Shh!
doomsday
Don't tell
talk.
people that. You make them.
Oh shit!
They're
Oh, my
they're
apologies,
they're already they're already
Sorry about
scared to death.
that.
They'll call the
No, I
radio
don't think that'll ever
stations.
happen.
They'll call the radio stations, and we won't have any answers. the
Where
uh,
do I get this gear? Where is it?
yeah,
Call your local military
yeah,
representative and they'll
and
tell you.
we're signing off. Goodbye. That's
Sorry, but that's all we can do.
yeah.
We're shutting down the channel.
That's all.
Shutting down the
That's all we've
entire
got.
operation.
But have you ever been in a situation where you're been next to the radio tower and it gets hit by lightning?
No, but one time I was on base, and we were so funny enough. Usually, when it's military bases, there is lightning within 5 warnings, which
Oh,
basically means there is lightning within 5, like I forget, 5 miles. I think is the measurement they use.
hmm,
I can't remember. And yeah, basically because there's so much gear and equipment, they're like, stay indoors. Do not be out if you need to, unless you actually have to,
yeah,
because lightning will strike. And of course, there's dowering rods and stuff in most of the buildings to redirect electrostatic discharge from lightning strikes
yeah,
through grounding cables to make sure nothing gets fried. There
yeah.
will still be Yeah, there will still be lightning strikes that could very well hurt military personnel.
Oh, absolutely.
And there was actually one that struck nearby one of my buildings, one of our
Ooh,
buildings.
I tell you,
It was
folks,
scary.
lightning. You can have the grounding. You can have all that one. I've been under a big radio tower when lightning hits, and I can tell you,
Ooh.
lightning does what it wants.
Mm-hmm.
It could
I
knock
mean, all
out.
it wants to do is go down, but
Yeah,
it'll do whatever it wants while it's going down.
yeah. It could knock out your whole building, or it can knock out one clock in an isolated room.
Mm-hmm.
and
It all
and
depends on where the electricity goes. Yeah.
yeah, where it wants to, where it could fire off out of an outlet and shoot across your shoulder. Um,
Oh my God,
that was not fun.
that sounds terrifying.
That's by yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
let's get back to the V tubing because people are like,
Yeah.
you're like,
Enough of this
they're talking
radio
shop. We're
nerdy
not. They,
electrostatic discharge
yeah,
grounding
what in the world?
rod
Like,
nonsense.
what are they talking about? What have you got some big plans this year for your channel? Have you got something in the works besides the new
Hmm.
model coming up?
Not really. I'm really just trying to continue and keep good pace. I've been told recently that if you want to do streaming, 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, otherwise don't even try.
But
So I'm gonna try and upkeep that kind of schedule. Venturing to new games, trying to establish myself in some other categories.
yeah,
I'm trying to really find like my niche. Right now, people just they say they just watch me for me, which is nice.
yeah,
But it would also be nice to really just choose a game and be like, all right, I'm gonna become an X, Y, and Z streamer because that helps you integrate yourself more in the community, build a little bit more natural interaction, a lot more organic.
yeah.
Helps you,
As long as you pick the right
in the worst
game.
case. Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I have some I have some good ones I think would be nice to cement myself in.
yeah,
Like TF2 is a very mixed bag, but there's some very nice people there.
yeah,
Tower Unite, very lovely, small but very solid community.
yeah.
It's lovely.
So how about collaborations? Um,
I'm trying to do more
yeah, it,
like this,
yeah.
which by the way I'm absolutely enjoying.
Well, I appreciate that. I
Um
am too. Uh,
I'm trying to do more collabs. I have some friends. There's people that are that I swear it's like trying to make make plans with like that friend from high school. Like, oh my gosh, you should totally do that. How about next week?
yeah, yeah, and then
uh,
next week comes.
Next he comes and goes, and you're like, oh shoot, we're
Yeah,
supposed to
I forgot to.
attack. Where I'll try
Yeah,
next month.
yeah, next
No,
month.
I want to cut that out.
Yeah, yeah, that's tough to do sometimes. Stupid life getting in the way and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Life and just poor planning.
yeah. Well, it and or only planning on one side, and
Mm-hmm. Oh, most certainly.
yeah, and I will say that sometimes the interviews go that way,
Oh,
but
really? Oh, I'm sorry to
well,
hear it.
yeah, but I'm the one intruding in on other people and asking them to do this. I'm not the budget is exactly the same every time, which is still zero. So
I'm
it's not like
about to
they're
say, I hardly call it intruding. I mean,
yeah,
you basically just said, hey, do you want to call and
yeah,
have it recorded?
yeah. Well, I
And that's
appreciate
no
it.
intrusion on me.
Well, I mean, it's great that I'm able to talk with interesting people such as yourself about their
Oh,
stories,
thank you.
about what they're wanting to do here, and
Mm-hmm.
you folks, you not trying to pigeonhole, but VTubers are putting themselves out for the public to entertain them and possibly get good and bad feedback and have to react to that. It's not always
Mm-hmm.
easy. Um,
Yeah, no.
for
It's
those with weak stomachs.
oh my God, yeah. I think with every streamer, you definitely are putting yourself out there
Yeah.
to criticism, to praise, to glorification, to obscene negativity. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it is a matter of like personally, I'm very grateful I don't get a lot of hate. I don't get a lot of negative interaction. And going back to when we started the conversation, a strong community. Let me tell you, when there's anybody that comes into chat being real rude, being real aggressive, being real hateful, oh my God, just like that, the mods, they'll just be like, boom, you're gone.
Yeah.
How I won't even have time to respond and make some, quippy little joke because that's how I always respond. I just go, oh yeah, yeah, really, man. I wonder how much time it took you to type that out. Oh, it must have taken so long to type that. Poor thing.
You don't even get the chance to join in the jolly stomping.
I don't even get to, yeah, I don't even get to make fun of them. My lovely mods, they're able to just, just like that. And thankfully, I haven't encountered any like mod abuse yet. That's something I worry about, especially when having people I'm close to be mods,
Yeah.
because I worry they don't take it seriously, but they take it seriously, and they're good people. So I'm very happy about that. And I wouldn't have good people if it wasn't for a solid community.
Yeah. It sounds like you got your head on straight and a lot of things going your way.
I hope they keep going my way.
Yeah.
But of course, knock on wood.
Yeah. I'll knock on the top of my head for that. But
Oh,
really,
hush, I'm sure you ain't got that much wood up there.
yeah, no, just a big pumpkin head. That's all. But
Aw.
it's hard to get headsets. The
Oh,
the
poor
really
thing.
it's great to hear that you're enjoying yourself
Hmm.
and things are going in a positive way for you and you continue to enjoy the interaction with your community and with the people online. That is always
Well,
good to hear.
certainly, yeah.
And I imagine that is maybe the most one of the most important things for you is having that interaction.
Almost certainly, yeah. I mean, that's and that's probably the heart. It's very heartbreaking when you see somebody trying to get into streaming and they can't get past the one, two, three viewers and with no chat interaction, no talking. Chat's dead. You're wondering, God, am I even live? I
Mm,
remember there was a good solid a few months where that was the case, but thankfully, through advertising and just getting my name out there, talking to people, I was able to get over that slump. But that's a hurdle a lot of people don't get past because there's just it's so oversaturated. There's so many streamers on,
there
which
is,
makes me wonder, God, how do I even have viewers
yeah,
with so much competition?
and there for any type of entertainment, there's a limited audience eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and it gets. I'm going back to the radio days. it gets divided up
Hmm.
into so many shares of the pie. Um,
Oh my God, yeah.
and I use the phrase or use the word marketing, and some VTubers run screaming, but uh,
Hmm.
sometimes you have to do a little marketing to
Oh, most certainly,
to
yeah.
if you want to grow. There are a lot of folks who are doing this as a hobby. They don't really want to, make money and do so. They're just having fun. That's one thing. But
Hmm.
if you're really looking to expand and you're going to take it serious, it's going to be a business for you at one point or another.
Oh yeah, and right now it definitely is just a hobby. I would love for it to be my full-time thing.
Mm,
Um, but right now it is definitely just a hobby. Trying to save up what little money I earn.
well,
And with the comes of the business thing, advertisement is very big. I'll advertise in Discord servers. I'll go on Twitter and post about if I'm playing a certain game. I'll even advertise in game when it's appropriate. I don't like being a link spammer.
jump
I
jump jump into
even
somebody's
yeah.
stream. By the way,
No, 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 not even in other people's streams. Like for example, that one game I mentioned, Team Fortress 2.
yeah,
Sometimes I'll just be like, "Hey, I'm streaming the game, and yeah, I'm me. If you want to listen and watch, and I get a bite or two."
yeah,
Some people won't even need the link; they'll just find me somehow.
yeah. Well, and if they, I'll tell you, if they're looking for if they could search by voice, they'd find it very easy because
That's sweet of you.
that is a voice you're gonna. But once you hear it, you're gonna remember it. That's for sure. Uh, Folks, if you want to check out to see what Delora's up to, we're gonna have links in the description for the interview. It is
Oh,
absolutely wonderful
lovely.
to meet you, and
Mhm.
thank you for coming on the program. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely, I appreciate it too, sweetie. And it was very, very nice. And honestly, I'd love to talk to you again very soon.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.